right, and welcome to another edition of Capcom Confidential. I'm one of your hosts, Pete Fabiano.
And I'm your other host, Matt Walker.
Welcome, and of course, as I say probably ad nauseum now, please continue to listen, subscribe, and also please give us some feedback. It's been a while since we got any feedback on the podcast, and we love hearing it. You know, we try to scour Twitter and other avenues of social media to see if there's anything out there. Please, those who listen, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see changed. That'll be really helpful.
Yeah, and on Twitter, you can find us at...
Are you going to start with that?
Dev1_official.
That's right. You can.
That's right.
Let's do that.
So you can find us there, and then you can give us your comments.
We like comments. Comment there.
Well, like Pete said, we haven't had comments in a while.
That's right.
So comments.
Comments.
All right.
All right.
So what's going on today, Pete?
So today we have a wonderful guest. So it's very rare that you get to hear from different facets of game companies, like in publishing or in dev. And we're fortunate enough to actually have Dan Levine, who actually works in public and investor relations.
That's right.
Did I get that right?
That's right. Yeah, that's the official department name.
I like that. And I mean, it's like you said, Pete, you know, Capcom's really interesting because it is both a publisher and a developer, right? So we do have all these people that work in all these different fields that, you know, a lot of people take for granted, you know? Like we have, or like even PR and marketing. Like a lot of people don't like recognize like how important PR and marketing is.
Absolutely.
And investor relations is actually public investor relations. Another thing that like people don't realize that like, you know, these people are really important and these people are helping the company function, you know?
Right. When you become kind of a large scale company like ourselves and you have not only a publishing arm but also a development arm, people always tend to focus on one of the two.
Yep.
Mostly they focus on the devs because of course they're the ones making the game and they make things interesting, but it's a really large machine and there's so many different pieces to it.
Yep.
So I think hopefully this will be interesting because you'll get to hear from Dan directly and his journey because he didn't start in investor relations. So first off, Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born?
Okay, New Hampshire in the United States, way up north there. So East Coast.
That's right, one of my people.
Yeah, the East Coast. So kind of that.
Although New Hampshire, no.
Not
really one of my people.
Okay, but New Hampshire, United States, not New Hampshire, Canada.
No, you're New England.
New
England, that's good.
New England,
you have good clam chowder.
It's not bad. I'm actually not a fan.
You're more of a you're a Manhattan guy?
I was never... this is the weird part. It was actually coming to Japan got me into seafood.
Okay.
Previous to that, when I was growing up, I didn't touch it. I only ate canned tuna fish.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit of a weirdo in that respect.
But you had such really good food up there, right?
Well, the food's all right. It's good. I miss it. I haven't, I don't get home that often, but, God, I don't know. It's all right. Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about New Hampshire cuisine. I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's that different than like say, what's down in like New York, New Jersey. That
everything because it's amazing. But you know,
I think it'd be great if we got some comments on Twitter from people from New Hampshire. Like, no, you haven't had cod until you've had New
exactly.
Hampshire
That's
cod.
what I want to hear. Yeah.
Or,
do they still even have cod anymore?
You know what? If you get up in that area, Maine, they're known for lobster.
Yep.
Massachusetts, you got Boston. There's the clam chowder. New Hampshire's kind of like in between there. I mean, we have the best state motto.
Oh, yeah? What is the state motto?
Live free or die.
Ah,
live free or die, baby. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's rock.
Yeah.
That's punk. That's rock.
Isn't that the subtitle for one of the Die Hard movies?
Yeah, they took it from our state.
Man, that's
so it's
awesome.
on all of our license plates. I think it's on my driver's license.
Man, that's Devil May Cry if I've ever heard anything.
It
That's
is.
Devil May Cry, man.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
What?
Live free or die, baby.
Yeah. Live free or pull my devil trigger.
There you go.
Something
See?
like that.
See?
You're
Told
trying
you.
too hard.
Trying way too
Yeah,
hard.
yeah. So, okay, you grew up in New Hampshire.
I did.
Did you live there all your life until you came?
I was, born and raised there, and I actually started to, when I went to university, I went to the University of New Hampshire for my first 2 years. And then, so up to that point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I had kind of just assumed you go to college. That's what everyone does.
Right.
And so I, like many
Not
people...
everyone, actually.
Well, yeah.
I think
well,
it's, 30% of the population?
Oh, wow.
Maybe
Okay.
higher now?
Yeah.
Really?
5, something like
Okay.
that.
Well, I
There's
mean,
my
nobody can
privileges.
Check the
afford
stats on
My privilege
on
is
that.
hanging out, but the
it.
I just assumed that-
dangling that privilege, Dan.
swinging around. So like a lot of people in my generation, I took on that student loan debt,
Yep,
and I went on to college, and I realized I was pretty lucky because we had a Japanese language program at my high school.
Cool.
So I had 4 years of very sort of basic Japanese under my belt.
So why did you even want to get into Japanese?
So that's a good question.
Thank
And,
you.
Yeah, I guess that's why you're the host.
One of those.
One of the hosts. So I'm a child of the 80s, right?
Right.
I was born in the 80s.
No one out there knows that, but
Now they do.
Now we
Now
know.
they do.
Now we know.
All kinds of personal information is just
Man.
flowing through the internet. When I was growing up, and I assume, Matt, you're about the same age as me, right?
I think so. I was born in 81.
Okay, 82.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so-
right on. You're a youngin.
I'm a youngin'. I'm the youngest one in the room.
that's for sure. I'm dying as we speak.
We're all dying.
That's true.
Just literally, like,
Yeah,
After
cells are
30.
dying.
Well,
Yeah.
live free or die, goddammit.
that's right. We're living free
That's right.
until we die.
That's right.
So growing up in the 80s, one of the sort of biggest sort of, how do you say, environmental kind of just sort of influences that we had, I think you guys probably, I assume you feel this way too, it was the bubble era in Japan.
Yep.
Japan Inc. was like running on,
Yep.
all cylinders.
Well,
Yeah.
there were so many books on like Japanese business practice and
Yeah.
Japanese management and
Mhm.
how the U.S. needed to follow suit because that was the way to be successful. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah. And as a kid, I wasn't super conscious about it, but looking around in my house, I have distinct memories of like being in the kitchen one time and just looking at like the cutting board, and it says "Made in Japan."
Okay.
And
Yeah,
our television is
Yep.
a Sony,
Yep.
and underneath the
Right.
television, I've got a Nintendo.
Yep. Good call.
To me, like Japan was like ubiquitous. It was like everywhere. Like
Thanks for
everything was from
describing that.
Japan. Yeah,
I like that. I
it was
like
like
that.
everywhere.
That's a good word.
See, I haven't been. This is my I need an editor.
No, you were fine. You just described the word
Describe
that you
the
word
said.
I just said. Yeah. If we were writing, we'd cut that out. So it was just kind of like everywhere, and I had this image because I loved video games so much as a kid. Not that I don't know, I still do, but it was like part of my identity as a child growing up. Japan to me was just this awesome place, and it was in the movies, like you said. It was in
Right.
on television, the news. They talk about Japan. It was in popular culture.
Remember in Back to the Future when Doc is talking to Marty and Marty goes, "Yeah, all the best stuff comes from Japan," and he's like, "What? That's not possible."
Oh, right. Well, it's because someone from the past,
Right.
prior to that, would think Japan makes cheap stuff.
Right.
But in the 80s, suddenly they were
High
making
quality.
great
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
And we all had it. It was in everyone's homes. We loved the video games.
Right.
Mr. Baseball. It was a movie.
That's
with
right,
Tom
with Tom
Selleck.
Selleck.
Yeah.
No one can see your hands
Can't
covering
see
your
the
beard.
mustache. So it was just this, to me as a kid, it was this magical place. And Nintendo came from Japan.
Right.
My favorite video games came from Japan. Capcom among them. I remember loving Mega Man as a kid and playing, the hell out of that with my friends. So when I got to high school, I still played games. And I was also into art, and I moved around a lot within New Hampshire, amazingly enough.
Wow.
It's a small state.
There's
we
that many
managed
places
Yeah,
to
I was gonna
move
say,
around.
what's the square radius of the entire state there?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
It's like 7 miles long or something.
Oh, my
Well, I
God.
mean, they're really going back to their motto because they needed to be free within the limits of with New
We
Hampshire.
were,
there,
we
you
were
know,
moving as freely as
as
possible.
they could, yeah.
Within the confines
Within
of the
New
state.
Hampshire,
Yes.
yeah.
Otherwise, they'd die.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to go to Mass, and we couldn't go to Canada, so
Oh, I like
we
how you call it
stayed.
Mass.
Massachusetts
Yeah.
is Mass.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you guys, that's what I like. A little bit of the
Fancy.
local lingo.
Massachusetts is a great place. Boston's wonderful. We just really look down on it.
Like when from Michigan, we would call Ohio Oh.
Oh, really?
Really?
No, we wouldn't actually do that.
Oh, I
no.
see.
That's still amazing, though. Continue.
I see. So, yeah, when I got into high school, I like to draw.
Okay.
I really like video games. I like stuff from Japan. My dad's like, oh, they offer a Japanese course at the high school. Why don't you take that? You like to draw.
Oh, you went
Japanese,
to a fancy high school. They had
Fancy.
It wasn't
they had
fancy. Well,
Japanese.
Ooh.
We didn't have that language.
They actually had 5 languages.
Okay.
So we're really lucky. They had
Yeah. French,
French and Spanish.
Italian,
Yeah.
German.
No,
Okay.
no figs. It was just French and Spanish, and then Japanese,
Okay.
Russian, and Latin.
Russian.
Yeah.
Russian
Interesting.
and Latin, man. Wait,
Yeah.
was it
And
was it a
Latin.
private school?
No, but that was the thing. It was Exeter, New Hampshire, and the public school was kind of competing with the
I see.
private school
Ah,
in
I
town.
see.
So
Well, that's
So
great.
those
as much as
private
they could.
bastards that they're not any better than us.
right,
Yep,
exactly.
I
Well,
hear you.
that
I
actually
hear
is
you.
great that the public school was trying to.
Yeah.
I don't know what the private school was like, but generally, if you're going to
It's-
pay, it has to be fairly good.
It's like a world renowned. It's called the Phillips Exeter Academy.
Oh,
it's like a
okay.
world renowned.
Man, it's got one of
so
them
you
fancy
had-
hyphenated names.
Yeah, dormitories all over town. So it was kind of a.
I went
in
to a
way, it
private
was
school and ours wasn't hyphenated. Man.
Yeah, there you go. Hyphens. I actually don't know if it's hyphenated.
It's
It might
okay.
be.
You're gonna break my dream.
But you
You're
can-
gonna
if you
I'm
look
break
pretty
it
my
sure it
up-
doesn't
dream.
matter.
You just Google it. It's a pretty. I assume it's still around. It was incredible. It has a huge impact on the town, and I think part of that bled over to the high school where they tried to do more for the local kids.
Where do most graduates of that high school go to? Is it
My high school?
Oh, no,
Or-
the private school,
I have
yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, okay. Is it like an entrance, a gateway into like Harvard or Yale or something like that?
It could be because it's.
Given
it's-
that you're in New
I
England.
mean, like, so New England has tons of obviously universities. They also have
Right.
tons of these sort of really good private schools. I have no idea where kids from Phillips Exeter end up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we had like Lawrenceville Prep in New Jersey that would kind of get you into Princeton.
I see. Oh, it was like a
Right.
direct pipeline.
Not directly, but if
Kind
you
of.
went there, you could probably get in.
I see.
What are you laughing about?
I don't know, man. Like a direct pipeline. Like I went to school in Michigan and I got to go to Michigan State. Like, it's like so much.
Michigan
it's so
State is fairly
underwhelming.
well accredited, right?
Well, I mean, we were the first. I don't even remember what it was called. First agricultural college.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you study agriculture?
Nah, I studied programming in Japanese.
Nice.
But we're
Look
talking.
where
We're
that
not
got
talking
you.
about me. We're talking about you, Dan.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I gotta hurry up.
No, you wouldn't
why
have
do
to
you have to
hurry.
hurry?
No, you don't have to hurry. We're just
You got
saying.
plenty of time.
This is
Okay.
about you, man.
All right, we can take it easy. All right. So
Just don't
anyway.
speak slow.
Oh, okay. All right. We so studied Japanese in high school, and I
Right.
got the 4 years of really sort of beginner level Japanese
Nice.
there.
That's
But
really
it
cool.
also, we had a Japanese club, we had an anime club. We were able to
nice.
sort of get acquainted with these kind of things. We had really great teachers that were,
You
amazing.
figure this was anime club, and he was in high school. If he was born in '82, that means he was in high school from '97 to 2001.
No, 96 to 2000.
Oh,
I thought
same
you
as
were
me
supposed
then.
to be pretty
I
good
guess
at math.
I guess I was held back then because that was even though you're born in '82, but you and I probably were the same, Gakunen or whatever. Then the
Oh
same-
yeah.
You mean
wh- wh-
year?
When's your birthday?
We like to call that year.
November 11th.
Okay, April. So
Okay. So we were the
Same
same year then,
year,
probably.
yeah.
Okay. So '96 to 2000. So your anime club, you had like
Wait,
Cowboy
so you
Bebop,
just got
Trigun.
into school at in '96?
Yeah, I
96
know, I
was
know
freshman
this.
year for
Wow, I
us.
graduated college in '96.
Right.
Good lord.
There you
Right.
go.
Good
Good
Lord.
Lord, yes.
Right. Lordy. But yeah, so you were watching like Cowboy Bebop,
Yep.
Trigun, the same stuff as
Wow,
me in
that's
high
that's
school.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what I
Right.
got way later.
Right?
Cowboy Bebop's great, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Although I didn't see that
That's
till
amazing.
much later.
Oh, so good.
Samurai Champloo. I'm actually more partial to that.
Right
But
on.
anyway,
I
we
haven't seen all
digress.
of that one.
It's your story.
So,
Yeah, sorry.
so we had all that, and when I went into college, University of New Hampshire, they had like some basic Japanese courses, but no major or anything like that. So
Mhm.
I was there. I was trying to figure out what I want to do, and I just decided, the only thing I enjoy studying is Japanese.
Right on.
So I'm going to transfer.
So why did you like Japanese? What got you? So you started studying in high school, but what kept you motivated?
I don't know. I just studying another language was a lot of fun,
Mhm.
and I thought maybe I had a gift for languages. That's not true, because later I tried to study German and I
That's
failed
not true.
fantastically. It was so hard.
Was it the pronunciation or just
the pronunciation, the grammar?
grammar.
My teacher even told me, she's
Neutral.
like, "Your pronunciation's so bad." Like,
Aw.
I was like, "Thanks." And I'd be in class, and I had studied at that when I took German. It was kind of
Right.
just as a one-off, like at
Right.
the end of my university career, or my undergraduate career, because I had some. How do you say? All my credits were already basically taken care of, and I had free
Okay.
time. I was like, "Well, I'll just take German. German's cool."
right?
Cool.
And I actually when I had studied abroad in Japan, I had met a German guy. And like, German's great. Germany's cool. Let's learn German.
You know?
Wait, so you did a semester abroad or something?
Yeah. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit.
Yeah, keep the
but-
chronology in check.
All right, let's go in. All right, we'll go in order. But anyway, I don't have a gift for languages. But Japanese.
Well, for Japanese you
For
did.
Japanese, it was for some reason it kind of clicked,
Nice.
and I think part of it was the fact that the alphabet is completely different. So it's like there's no confusion there, and in terms of like
Wait,
pronunciation.
can you qualify that? What do you mean there's no
What I
confusion?
mean, like,
Yeah.
so compared to German,
Right.
when I look at the letters in German, a lot of them,
It looks like English.
it looks like English.
It looks like you
Right.
could read that in English,
yeah,
but no.
but you don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't. They
That
have
makes
their own
sense.
special
Yeah,
pronunciation.
Right.
And Japanese, on the other hand, there's no. It's completely different. It looks different. The sounds are all kind of pretty much set. It was kind of like in high school, I was like, oh, this is like a secret code. No one knows what I'm writing. I can write whatever I
Right.
want.
Sweet.
People around me, no one else. It was still, they taught it at my high school. It was not one of the popular languages.
Oh, right.
Man.
Yeah, it was very small. So that and Latin, I think, were the smallest
Right.
classes.
You have to
Yeah.
be pretty dedicated for those two languages.
Yeah.
If you had like secret notes, then you could totally write those secret notes to other people. They wouldn't know what they're looking at.
Exactly.
Which
Oh,
would be
man.
pointless if you're trying to send them a message.
Well,
If it was intercepted, if you and your you and your buddy, you know what you're writing.
That's right.
Because you can read it.
that's right.
If it's intercepted, they're like, "What's this?"
This is just gobbledygook.
It's just gobbledygook.
Oh
Well,
man, good call.
I mean, I guess it would be probably pretty easy to decipher if they...
Nowadays,
Yeah.
this was pre.
Yeah.
Well, we had internet, but it was not. It hadn't exploded.
Right.
This
We
was
didn't have
pre
smartphones
2000.
back then. Hell, in
No.
'96, we didn't even. High school students didn't have cell phones. That's for damn sure.
No, I
Yeah.
knew everyone's phone number by heart.
Yep.
Right.
Pick it up,
Right.
dial it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Now I don't know anybody's
And
number.
Yeah.
you know, I wonder if anyone even gets taught, like, the proper way to use a phone. You pick it up, you say, "Hello, may I speak with," and then you say the person's name, right? Because you're
you
always
gotta-
talking to the mom or the dad when you
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
right?
When you call, you're not going to reach the person that you
Right,
want to
generally
reach
speaking.
necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to kind
Ah,
of go
the
through
good old days.
a gate.
Right.
Yeah.
The
that-
good
Hello,
old days.
good old days.
When you were never
Mr.
sure who was going
So-and-so.
to pick up when you called someone.
Yeah. Now it's just
Yeah.
like, "What up?" And that's about
Yeah,
it.
you know who they are.
Because it's on the caller ID.
Or you just
Yeah.
don't pick it up.
You just don't pick it up. You wait, and then you send them a text. Sorry, busy.
Yeah,
Text
yeah,
me.
Right.
Yeah.
Good
Or you
Lord.
just block them.
Oh God.
Snapchat. Okay, so
Where were we?
Japanese in high school, that was fun.
Yeah, and that kind of led to me wanting to study Japanese later in life.
Right.
So,
Makes sense.
So was
I
it your major?
transferred. Well, I made it my major. I transferred from University of New Hampshire to the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Holy
because-
Jesus, you went to Hawaii.
Yeah, because
That's
I
awesome.
wanted. I kind
He's
of.
like, "It's cold out here. I want to go somewhere warm."
was
I got to
part
be
of
free
it.
of God, so I guess I'm going to be free in Hawaii now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's
Like
part-
that's
honestly,
but honestly though, that is one hell of a change. You're like,
It was-
That's
I am in the
awesome.
Northeast. I'm used to this. F it. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm gonna go to Hawaii. You're not even in the continental United States anymore.
Please tell me you got like a tan when you were there.
No,
a
because
shame.
I mean, I really enjoyed the weather, obviously, because the weather's great. But my reason for wanting to go was kind of twofold. It was economic.
Oh, wow.
So
Was it cheaper in Hawaii?
out-of-state tuition for Hawaii was almost. I want to say it might have been cheaper than. Now it's probably a little bit more expensive than in-state for New Hampshire. New
I was
Hampshire
gonna say
has
generally
really,
in-state is fairly.
Yeah, New Hampshire's had. I mean, we're all talking about years and years ago, but had some of the highest in-state tuition rates when I was
Is that
going to
right?
college.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I transferred, it was pretty reasonable from my
Right.
perspective. Since then, I think they've raised the out-of-state tuition in Hawaii
Okay.
or at that school, but for me, it was still pretty reasonable. Plus, with that, there were obviously a lot of schools within the United States that have great Japanese programs. UH Manoa had a really solid Japanese program,
That makes sense.
and
A lot of
obviously,
Japanese people there.
that was the other
right?
thing. The culture was already there.
Right.
That's
You know,
really
so
cool.
Like California, you get to the West Coast, there's a lot of Japanese culture. Hawaii, there's a lot of Japanese culture. East Coast, there's more and more now, but at the time it was pretty scarce.
It was pretty rare. I
Yeah.
hadn't met a Japanese person until I got to college, actually.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so I decided to go where Japanese people were.
Right.
The fact that it was in Hawaii was definitely not, a demerit. It was a
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Cool. So it is a nice place to go to.
It was, and it completely sort of betrayed my expectations. It was totally different than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I learned a lot of different things about Hawaii, about the people there, about the struggles of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
sense.
it's
I mean, not cool that they had struggles.
no,
but cool
but
to learn about.
it was very educational, and I had a great time. And while I was in Hawaii, I was technically there for 3 years, but the middle year I did a study abroad at the University of or Hiroshima University
Okay.
for about a year.
Okay.
So
That's awesome. A whole year, nice.
Isn't
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cost of living out there a bit expensive though?
Hawaii?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So as a student, I mean, again, just taking on those loans and working a part-time job,
Yeah.
and not eating very well, but doing all right. Not too bad. Just
You ate the ramen with water, not just out of the bag.
yeah, we had water. We had running water.
That's good.
No, it was fine. It was great actually. It was totally okay, and learned a lot. The teachers there were great. I would highly recommend it. Yeah, but I didn't go to the beach that much. I was never really a beach person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you came from New Hampshire.
Yeah,
So.
we do have a coastline up in
Yeah,
New Hampshire.
but you don't have a beach culture.
Actually, New Hampshire has some of the best surfing on the East Coast, or maybe in the Northeast.
There you go. Maybe
Okay.
Surfers go to New Hampshire to
maybe
surf.
even
Well-
better than the Jersey Shore.
Wait. But
Probably better than
surfing
the
is a
Jersey.
bit different from what I'm describing, which is kind of like going to the beach, kind of lounging out.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah, walking the
the beaches
boardwalk
in New
sort of
Hampshire are
thing.
kind of a little rocky.
Yeah.
They smell like the sea, whereas Hawaii doesn't have that, and the water's kind of clear and beautiful and perfect. So
That's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, the East Coast really can't compare to that at all. But
no, it can't.
I
It
wonder if that
can't.
still happens. I wonder if they still have the clear water in Hawaii.
I'm pretty sure they do.
They
Sweet.
probably do, but obviously, well, they have their concerns about pollution.
Yeah, I would
and
imagine.
Giant cruise ships coming in and dumping
Yeah,
all sorts
that
of
makes sense. That makes sense. Cruise
undesirable
ships.
things.
Yeah.
So, but still looking good. Hawaii's still awesome.
Nice. So
Um,
you spend. Then you took your privilege and dangled it into Japan.
I did.
So you did a study abroad in Hiroshima.
I did, and just studied Japanese there. Again, another great experience. Played a lot of video games. Bought the Japanese systems.
Third year
Right.
of college.
Yeah.
So that would have been 2002.
When did we go to? This was probably like 2003-ish when I
Okay.
went to Hiroshima. Yeah.
Okay, it's about just a little after me then when I first came to Japan. Okay.
Where did you go?
I went to in Shiga in Hikone. There's a little college there. I was only there for like 10 weeks or something. It was like this intensive Japanese course where I took all of fourth year Japanese in the course of 10 weeks.
Wow.
In
Oh,
the course
wow,
of that
okay.
summer. And that was it was the intensive Japanese course at it was called like the Japan Center for Michigan Universities.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Japan Center is, I guess, fairly
I think
Pretty
it's
wa-
worldwide,
solid,
right?
yeah.
I mean, the Japan
Very,
Center.
yeah.
I think
So-
we have one in New York, and there's a bunch of them. in
Okay.
locations.
It like literally it's called the Japan Center for Michigan Universities and it's in Hikone.
Okay.
Okay, I think Michigan in particular, if I'm not mistaken, they have a really strong, if not
Right.
the strongest. I don't want to say the
lot
strongest.
of
Is it,
people say
Ohio's
that,
pretty
It's
good
very
too,
strong
right?
program.
They say
Ohio's got a good
Yeah, we
program.
have a lot of Ohioans. Ohioans? I don't know how to say that.
That's right.
Ohioans, all right.
Yeah.
Ohioans here.
You mean the guys from O or the girls from O
From O.
or the people from O?
I
So
like
while
that.
you
O.
guys went to these amazing programs, I was in the first Japanese program ever at my university.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. He's a pioneer.
Kinda, yeah.
That's cool.
We went from like 40 students to 5 in the final year.
With all the
Oh, people just
Oh, they just
dropping
drop,
out.
yeah.
Okay.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna try Japanese. Oh no.
Oh no. yeah. Right on. So what was that experience like? So you were saying. Oh, but that's what I wanted to ask you was what. So what? Let's see. If it was 2003, I'm trying to figure out what video games you were playing. Probably GameCube, PS2.
Yep.
Maybe Game Boy Advance, depending.
Yeah. So I think I may have had my own Game Boy Advance, and we being the exchange students
Okay.
who were all packed into the same dorm together. We bought systems. So I
Right.
had a GameCube.
You shared.
Nice.
Some other people had like a PS2, and we'd bring them. Friday night, Saturday night, we'd bring them down into the common room. We'd play
Right.
together.
Nice.
Right.
And our favorite game to play was Momotaro Dentetsu.
Okay.
Nice.
You guys know that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't think
Yeah.
I wonder if that's ever been localized at all.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I don't think so.
It's like people, if they would really want to simplify it, they'd be wrong, but they'd say it's like Monopoly.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
That's what you usually say, but
Right?
it's not.
But it's not.
It's
you know,
different.
It's
But
and it's just there's just all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. But you are buying up property, right?
yeah,
And
property along each of the different railroads in Japan and
Yep.
also Hawaii.
Oh, really? There's
It's
Hawaii in there?
Hawaii's usually included.
Interesting.
You have to take an airplane to get there.
Okay.
But
That's
It's
true.
just like
yeah, I forgot
the
about
bonus.
that. Yeah.
yeah. It's
Okay.
Man, that's great. That's great practice for Japanese too.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, all the stuff you have to like read and learn the words and stuff. That's fantastic.
It's good practice and some heated because the game is so cruel. It is
Oh, yeah, yeah.
cruel. Yeah.
Oh, what's the demon thing that they have that'll screw you over?
But the god of poverty, like the Bimbo Gami.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he was. Yeah.
I've never played this game.
Oh, really?
Dude. It's I mean it's like these days I don't know if people play it, but like yeah.
It was huge here. I remember
was
seeing
huge,
it everywhere.
right?
Right?
Like,
Every
huge
every
from-
Famicom shop that you'd go
Right.
to.
I wonder if it was from the NES era, yeah. Or
I
from
think
the
so.
Super
I think
yeah,
it was on the
yeah,
Famicom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And just like it was always like a huge thing.
Very-
My wife loves it.
Oh yeah.
And my wife and I used to play it on Wii a ton.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I even played it after that. Me and one of my roommates, when I was in Japan, like working for a little bit, like post college, we had like you could set the number of years for the game, right?
Yeah.
And you do like a 5 or 10 year game. I forget how, but even those level, like you say, oh, it's 5 years, 10 years. The game takes like 3 hours to
Yeah.
beat.
Wow.
So it's
We
like-
set it to
it's like Monopoly.
99 years.
99 years.
Would you play for like 4
So
days?
we just come home and we play for a couple hours. Save it.
Oh
turn
my
it off.
god.
We kept that going for so long. It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
But yeah, love that. So we play games like that. There's a lot of different folks in the program, so we had different sort of tastes. Some people who are really into Marvel vs. Capcom.
Right on. Sweet.
Nice.
I remember I bought the SNK one in the Versus series.
Oh,
Capcom
yeah.
versus
SNK.
SNK.
For the-
Millennium Fight 2000.
It was for the GameCube, right? Yeah.
There was a CVS 2 on the GameCube. There was a CVS 2 came out on I think on all the systems really. The first Capcom versus SNK I think only came out on Dreamcast and PS1.
Yeah, I think it was Dreamcast.
PS1 was kind of like I want to say like it wasn't quite as full as the Dreamcast version. They call it like Capcom versus SNK Pro.
You had to have the cart, right, for that one as well?
Oh, maybe I forget.
think so. Oh, wait, but the PS1 didn't have that.
Yeah, you're right.
Cart was only for
There
the
was
Saturn.
cart. Yeah,
So was it
Saturn
for
had a
Saturn?
cart. Yeah. No.
It was only
a
PS1
game.
then?
It was
Okay.
a PS1 game. Yeah, Capcom versus SNK
Yeah.
2, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an awesome game.
I think-
Hideaki Itsuno joint, baby.
Oh,
Yes, he's all Mr. Capcom versus SNK, dude.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, we'll have to
It's freaking.
Oh, he's a
sweet.
fighting
say
game
thank
pedigree,
you.
right?
That's true.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. To say thank you.
I'm telling
That's
you,
why
one of
he's
the
so
best
good
things,
at combat design.
One of the best things is to go drink with him and sit down and bring up YouTube and just like put on
brag now.
and put on like videos of his old games and then just let him talk like wax nostalgic about his games. It's so cool.
It is pretty cool to hear.
It's so cool.
That is cool, man.
But we're here to talk to you.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
Sorry about that,
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was
So you're in
thinking some-
Japan. You go back to the States.
Yep. I go back
What
to the
happened?
States.
You fell in love?
Well, I go back to the States.
I meant with Japan.
Oh, with Japan. I did fall in love with
Right.
Japan. Actually, that wasn't my first trip to Japan. My first trip to Japan when I was 19 was a 3-week trip that I took like with my old high school. Like I had just graduated, but I was
Cool.
still on good terms with the teacher there. And they're like, well, maybe you can be a chaperone. I'm like, cool. And they're like, no, you can't be a chaperone, but you can still come. I was like, all right.
Nice.
So we
That's
took
sweet.
this trip to Tokyo for like 3 or 4 days, and then up to Nakano City in Nagano-ken.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun. And because of that, we had such a good time. I remember being back in America, being at university, and being like, oh, gotta get back. Gotta
Nice.
get back.
Nice.
So that was kind of the initial motivation. For
Right.
some reason, just had fallen in love
That's cool.
with the country and the people and just everything.
Right.
And
I
I think
know a lot of people that happened too. You know, they'd go visit Japan and they'd be like, "Oh, that was great," and then literally they just keep thinking, "I want to go back."
I had a friend who came to visit me, and then he just stayed.
That's cool.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
he came to visit
impressive.
me for like 2 weeks. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stay here.
That's it.
And he's been here longer than I have because I moved back to the States once.
Wow.
Good Lord. I would love to be able to have that kind of, I don't know if it's freedom or just that kind of, the willingness to just be like, I'm just going to do this now.
I mean, he was
you must have
fresh out of college. kinda,
Oh, okay.
Right? So
All
it wasn't
right.
like he wasn't tied down to
You
anything.
must have been free enough because you didn't die. So, anyways,
That's true. That's true.
right,
I'm living
Keeping it
free.
thematic.
right. All right, so you're thinking, oh God, I want to get back to Japan.
I want to get back to Japan, but I went to college, studied Japanese. I mean, after graduation, I came back to Japan. And I did what a lot of people do, which is I taught.
Right, because especially back then and back in my day too. Back in my day, really, those were the only options. Unless you were sent here by a company overseas
Yeah.
as an expat, there were really very few opportunities in Japan to just start working.
It was kind of it's difficult to break into from the inside.
Right.
Yeah, it's much easier if you're coming in as an expat back in the day.
Right. Now it's much easier.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more opportunity now.
Absolutely, yeah. More competition at the same time.
More competition,
But
yeah.
there are opportunities for sure.
So I did that for a couple years. And it was a good experience. And during that time, I sort of had an opportunity to do sort of a little bit of management at the school. And I was like, well, what do I want to do with my life? And I was like, I'm going to go get my MBA. So
Nice.
I had not studied business at all up to that point. I knew absolutely nothing about economics. And I'm terrible at math.
Well, I mean, MBA doesn't require you to be that exceptional at math, as far as I understand. I mean, there are math programs, but
to get into a business school, you have to pass the GMAT.
right.
Well,
Yes.
not pass. You have to take the GMAT.
You have to take the
and then
GMAT, which
submit
has a
score.
pretty large portion of.
Yeah, it's you get
math.
half. It's like half math and half
Right.
English.
But you
Right.
can fail that portion and still get in.
Well, the schools, it's kind of like I don't know how America does the standardized testing nowadays. Do they still have the CATs? Or is
We
that
took the
gone?
SATs.
You took the SAT?
Yes.
Are you thinking of ACT?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I did
So
take the SAT.
they're
yeah.
regional.
Okay.
Sometimes SATs obviously exist. I think nationwide, I believe. But
Okay.
if you're talking about the battery of testing that you took, like we had the HSPT, which is the high school proficiency test,
Oh, I never took
and then we had the CTBS, which was the California battery
There's
of
way
testing.
too many letters,
Whoa,
Pete.
whoa,
All right,
whoa.
So there
Okay.
we were tested up the wazoo.
Now my wazoo
But,
remained pretty
Untested?
unused. Yeah, untested.
Untapped.
Untested. I just took the one test before going to college,
Oh yeah.
and I
So
took
that
it
would be the
twice.
SATs, no?
It was the SATs,
Yeah.
and took it twice, and then they like combine your scores, whatever. But
Right.
for the I think I did the same thing for the GMAT. when I
Right,
took it.
okay.
I actually took it in Japan
Oh yeah.
while it was teaching.
Right. You were prepping for it.
Because I
Right.
was prepping over here.
Right.
I went to a center where you could take it. Scored very well on the English portion. Scored moderately okay on the
Right.
math, and then, it was good enough to get into my school of choice.
Right.
Nice.
It was Brandeis University, the International
Ooh,
Business School.
name dropping here. Okay.
Name dropping Brandeis.
Brandeis.
Great school. It's a
Brandeis, the
think it-
Colts.
I think it might. What? No.
I mean,
I think it's
they
the
don't-
Brandeis. The university is. I think it's America. It might be America's only accredited Jewish university.
All right.
But it was founded something by Justice Brandeis. He was like a justice, a judge.
Nice.
Thank you
I
for
didn't
the
go. I didn't
visualization.
go to. I'm banging
Dan-
my gavel
Dan
here.
like banged the gavel.
Yeah,
that was great.
You know, if
You
you,
know what I
didn't
saw
have
in
the
my
gavel,
head,
I wouldn't
though?
have known.
Air gavel. Air
They're
gavel.
doing the air. You know what I saw in my head though was Ace Attorney.
Right.
Objection.
You should have thought Justice Galquin.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we played
dude, yeah,
Justice
getting back to
Garquin,
the
man.
Itsuno. Here we go.
Yeah. Was a big fan. Rival Schools. I owned
Yeah,
it.
dude.
2 discs, baby.
Oh,
2 different
right?
games, kind of.
Ah, it's
yeah.
so good.
You know your
that.
stuff.
Well, I played that game and I really liked it.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too,
Um,
actually. In the arcade as well.
I'm the kind of person who doesn't really research stuff so deeply a lot in their personal life. So if I find something I like, I'm like, oh, I love this. And I'll just sort of go with it.
Nice.
Right.
I was so shocked when I saw that in the arcade. I was like, this is an arcade game?
I never heard you do a voice before. That was fun.
He does
Oh,
them a lot.
thanks.
I
I
like
do.
He
that.
needs
That's
more
good.
alcohol.
That's
That's
good.
probably-
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah,
There's
exactly.
lots of voices with the alcohol.
That's awesome. Okay. Man.
But, good Lord.
So
where
Brandeis.
was I went to Brandeis, the International Business School.
Right.
IBS, not
Yes.
irritable bowel syndrome.
Right,
That's
right.
the,
I
Oh.
did not make that connection. Thank
I
you.
know. We did.
Now
It's-
we're all visualized.
Yeah. But it was a great place to go. Mostly international students. So I was like one of maybe 5 Americans amongst like, good Lord, I don't know, like 100 non-Americans, but at an American
Right.
institution. So that was a great experience. The most of them were, surprise, surprise, from China or Taiwan.
Right.
So I think there was one person from Japan. So that was kind of like, I was like, oh, wow, times have changed. But
I would
yeah,
guess
compared to
that
when you were a kid,
actually
yeah.
at this time now you probably see even fewer
yeah.
exchange students from Japan.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I would imagine.
Even fewer than one?
Well, times are rough.
Maybe I meant in general, not just at Brandeis,
I
but
see,
yeah.
I see, I see, I see. I see.
So you got,
Yeah.
so you
never
got
mind.
your MBA at Brandeis then?
I did. I got my MBA. That was an experience because I was doing like a 180 in terms of what I had studied up to that point in my life.
Okay.
I was able to do another study abroad while at Brandeis.
Nice.
Really?
Back to Japan or?
Yeah, back in Japan.
Okay.
So part of the schools, because it's the International Business School, they have the international requirement where you had to either have fulfilled a language requirement or studied abroad.
Okay.
So you had to be bilingual or at least, passable in another language.
Nice.
I had already fulfilled that, but I was like, I still want to study abroad.
Right.
So I did like 3 months, a semester at Waseda.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that was a lot of fun. I was broke in Tokyo, so that was no fun. But it was also a lot of fun.
Right.
Right on.
Yeah. Got out of there. Straight out of basically business school, I came back to Japan. I started job hunting. And
So you job hunted in Japan.
yeah, I did.
Okay.
And
not from
it
the
was
US.
still a challenge, especially
Sure.
because I wasn't in Tokyo. I was
Right.
in Kansai.
Right. Why did you come to Kansai?
I came to Kansai because it's because I had a girlfriend who's now my wife. Living
When
here.
did that happen?
Girlfriend
I don't
is now
remember
my
hearing
wife.
that part of the story.
God, sorry. That was that happened a while ago in terms of the story too, back when I was teaching. So we met then.
Okay.
Oh, so
And
this
we
is
had a
before you
long
went
distance
back.
relationship,
Okay.
yeah, for the approximately 2 years when I was back
you're
in
doing-
school.
yeah.
I mean, when I was in Tokyo, we saw each other like once or twice, but the cost of going in between the
Right.
two
Yeah.
cities,
Yeah.
Especially as a
she was out-
student, right?
Yeah. So came back, tried to get established, did odd jobs for a little bit, and then I ended up working. Actually, got hired to do marketing at a very small translation and localization company located in Osaka that
Right.
shall remain nameless.
Nameless company.
Certainly.
Right on.
nameless company. Although there are a lot of veterans from there who have come into Capcom.
That's true.
Somehow they managed to get good people.
Nameless
Some
company.
they find good people who leave as quick as they can. So I basically worked there for a couple years. Was doing marketing. Partway through, the CEO of the company was like, I want to build a platform. I had sort of invited a friend to work there as well. He came on board. We decided to try and build this indie game platform where we would localize indie games from outside of Japan
The
into
West, right.
Japanese,
Or, yeah.
and then sell them on our platform. We got that off the ground. My friend decided to leave. We had hired someone else who was pretty very hard worker, very dedicated to that cause as well. So he picked up the slack, and worked there for a while. I decided when I was getting around 30, I was like, I need to look for something else. I'm 30 years old. I need to do something. I need to go someplace where I can sort of flourish. And there was an opening at Capcom and the localization department. I'll just keep going. Sorry, technical difficulties. So there was an opening at Capcom in the localization department for a localization director, and I applied. And that's when I first met Pete via a video interview on the computers.
On the computers,
On
yes.
the computers.
On the computers. What you didn't know was I wasn't wearing pants, which is my
Of
thing
course.
when I do
That
video
happens often,
interviews.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
I get told that after the interviews.
I'm kidding. I was wearing pants. I think I wore a suit.
You did wear a suit.
I was in my kitchen
You
wearing
did wear a suit.
In your kitchen.
That was back when I was running global production, and we had an opening on the localization side of things. And yeah, you were a good candidate. It was good talking to you.
Thanks.
You were probably I would say quite a number of candidates do wear suits, even to the
Yeah.
Skype interview.
Well,
Or
you
the-
want to present.
Yeah, of course.
know.
You want to look presentable, right?
Yeah. So, I remember that, and I got called in, and it was super nervous and
Yeah, most
navigating
people are.
here. I remember talking to you guys about. I think you guys had thrown me a question about Star Wars,
I don't remember.
to like think about in terms of like, because this was for the localization director position,
Right.
which involved more. It was obviously you had to be able to understand and communicate in Japanese and to translate between the languages, but you also had to have that sort of creative mindset where you could contribute to.
Yep. And it's kind of tough because not only the creative side, but also you have to manage too. So it's like you have to have a little bit of everything, which is not easy. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people are generally speaking
Yeah.
either very, very creative or more along the lines of being able to manage. And having both is a really important skill set.
It is, and I would say it's a very tough thing to balance.
Yeah, sure.
So.
What was the Star Wars thing? Do you remember?
Good Lord, it was probably just something about the prequels.
Man, I wish I remembered. That was probably back in
What,
what,
did
2000?
Pete ask you, or was it somebody else?
It may have been from Miguel,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
it
think it
seems
was from
like
both.
It sounds like a
Miguel.
Miguel question.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah,
But I would have grilled you on it later.
No, it was good, and got the job, and the rest is history.
Well, no,
Yeah.
because you're not doing anything Loc director related. You did actually at first work on R7, right?
Yep, that was, I think, in terms of a title that I contributed to and was released. It was my as a localization director, it was my first.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a good experience. Unfortunately, it was really only during the startup phase. Like,
Because then you were snatched.
I was snatched.
Snatched
I
away.
got snatched
He
away.
was handpicked
That's right.
by
Uh,
the CEO himself.
The chairman.
That's
by
right.
the chairman.
The chairman.
He was handpicked. That's
right.
right. One day I get called in. It's like, we're taking some of your people. Dan's one of them. And it was kind of like this big thing where it was like, okay, he wanted to start something new, and I'll let you tell the story. But it was like, oh, okay, well, I don't really have that many people I can give away.
I kind of need my people, chairman.
But yeah, Dan was on the list, and he was at the top of the list, so Dan got to move over.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a list.
Yeah, there was a list.
So
We heard there was a list.
there was a list, and I was on it.
You were on the
You
top.
were the top. You were the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy. All right. Yeah. So they took me over there, and
Took you over there. Where?
they took me over there. Well, that's the interesting part, because I was going over to do sort of to learn and to kind of, I don't know, I want to say study, but I was supposed to do interpreting for the chairman to help out with sort of business related activities abroad.
But it wasn't just interpreting. You were supposed to actually kind of understand the business
Yeah.
Right.
behind it, right?
So, and that's actually, it ties into what I'm doing now.
Right.
But initially, they brought me over.
It's kind of a training period. Almost.
Yeah. They brought me over into the secretariat.
Right.
So I was an executive assistant, essentially, for...
When people hear executive assistant, they think
The
more
image
towards
is
the,
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they start thinking more towards like secretary, but it's not actually that. You're actually shadowing him at this point.
Yeah, there was a lot of shadowing, a lot of international travel together. A lot of stuff that I probably can't talk about even on Capcom Confidential.
Oh man, got to keep it confidential.
That's right.
Dinner
That's a
parties
shame.
with masks and stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Eyes wide shut.
Wow.
No. There's a lot of interesting opportunities. I got to see aspects of this business, and as a lot of people know, the chairman, he's the founder and the CEO of Capcom. He also has founded
pretty
a
amazing.
separate private company, Kenzo Estate Winery. So I got to sort of see how he splits his time between these two businesses, how he sees them as being sort of related in terms of the value that they present. to
Ideology,
people.
maybe?
The ideology, of having to make high quality things because we're not producing necessities like, clothing or
Right.
housing or something like that. It's he's making wine over here, he's making games over here. One is entertainment, the other is a luxury item.
Right.
In either case, you have to develop something that's going to be, super high quality, and it doesn't betray people's expectations. It kind of goes beyond them in order to keep them into it. Obviously, a lot of the nuts and bolts are completely different, but in his mind, at that high level, these are
Right.
the same kind of thing, the same concept.
Right.
Nice. We're getting schooled here on.
Yeah, you're getting a
on
bit of that
Sean
PR,
Sherman.
IR stuff right
Dude,
now.
I like it.
So-
I like it.
So I spent time there, and eventually he decided, he's like, okay, now you need to go to PR and IR. because you'll be able to learn everything about the company. And he wasn't kidding, because we have to be involved with everybody in the company all the time. So, and it can be tough because we're always in the middle between parties, whether we're doing public relations. So we do corporate communications.
Yeah.
So at Capcom, corporate communications is a separate group from our what's now known as the brand promotion team.
Okay.
They handle title promotion here domestically. And I should also clarify that when I'm talking about PR or
corporate PR,
or comms,
right?
Yeah, corporate PR,
Yeah.
we're focused domestically, so Japan.
Right.
Our subsidiaries like USA in Europe, they handle the PR in their respective territories.
Okay.
And we are connected, and we do talk. We do we keep each other informed, but in terms of who's responsible for what, we're responsible for Japan. And we don't get so involved with title promotion. You guys
Right.
probably, being producers, have to work a lot with
Right.
with the brand promotion team and getting the titles out there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Very specific sort of fan-related events.
Yeah.
We talk more to the mass media here.
Right.
And they do want to know about the titles, but a lot of the times they're more interested in talking about the sort of the business-related aspects
that makes
of the
sense.
titles. How much is it going to sell?
Right.
When is it? Tell us a little bit about the history. Why is this? What sort of strategy did you have for selling this here or there? That kind of stuff. So, on the communication side, we develop relationships with the media here, which is very interesting, very kind of different. On the other side of the coin, the investor relations side, we basically have to develop relationships with institutional investors, very large sort of funds, people who might invest in our company. So we have to go and talk to them, answer their questions. We also talk a lot to analysts, who their job is to basically, because they have the reports, they have the numbers, they have everything we've put out there, but they want more. They need more in order to be able to try and figure out, okay, how much is this company actually worth?
Right.
Is it a good investment now?
Right.
Their bread and butter is selling reports to people who are going to invest, right?
Yep.
We have to talk with them and give them certain information, and there's only so much we can tell them.
Sure.
Right.
There are limits to what we're legally allowed to disclose.
Right.
There's also things that we're legally required to disclose.
Right.
Working with all of that, we talk with these people. We carry out interviews, a lot of domestically, also internationally. The international ones, I'll sit in and I'll do the interpreting there. And I'll travel abroad when we go to talk to investors, let's say in Europe or the United States or in certain parts of Asia.
I'm kidding. Wow. Okay.
So for PR, you're only involved domestically, but for IR, you're actually involved internationally.
Yes. So our IR department is basically Capcom's global investor relations department.
Yeah. Man, that's hardcore. Sounds like you're busy, man. You got a lot to deal with.
Yeah, you have to know a lot about the titles themselves, because you'll get questions from potential investors,
Yep.
especially investors who also happen to be gamers,
Yep.
about, certain really sort of core aspects of how the game plays or what
Sure.
sort of features are in it. So you have to know, to a degree, how all the games work. You also have to know about the strategies and all the numbers.
Nice.
So it's a lot to absorb. So because of that, we're constantly talking to each other in the department. We create little Bibles each quarter
Right.
full of the answers. It's basically a cheat
okay.
sheet,
Okay.
which is what everyone does. But,
Sure.
bring those to the meeting. If they ask for something like, could you tell me for the past 10 years, what your operating profit within this certain business has been? Hold on a minute. Okay, it's this, and this. So
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. Jesus.
it's fun, though. You guys deal with a lot, too. It's just different stuff. It's very broad, and it's deep, but it's not, like, super deep.
I like
Well,
it's the hand gesture with the deep.
Yeah.
You bring
pretty
your hands
extensive,
together
though.
like.
It is
You
extensive.
do need to
yeah.
you do need to have a pretty vast knowledge of the history, the games, what's happening, and as you mentioned, the strategy, right? All that. I'm just repeating what you said, but you have to know all of that in order to actually function in these meetings or these settings where people are going to ask you questions about the overall strategy business. Well, what were the numbers like over the past 5 years? What are your projections for the next? What are the forecast? All of that information needs to be readily available.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to answer to those questions. So that's
the other tough part is that everyone's answer has to be the same.
right.
Nah.
Of course.
So because obviously we go to different meetings and different people will be handling those different meetings. You have to give the same answer. Obviously you can word it differently, but the core point of whatever sort of bit of information, whatever data or datum that you're giving has to be the same. Especially if you're talking strategy or talking about the future.
Right.
You have to be able to give the same answer.
Of course.
So
Otherwise, they'll catch you out on certain
start,
inconsistencies, wondering why is this happening,
yeah.
and it could be a simple mistake, but you need to make sure everyone's on the same page, right?
Yeah.
Good God, that sounds stressful.
And we don't want to mislead, analysts. We don't want to mislead investors. Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are on your game though, because everything seems to be going quite well.
It's going all right, but that's thanks to you guys over here.
Well, what did we
People
do for that?
making the games? Damn it, you guys make the games. We don't. Yeah, we basically. Just
I do
talk
make the
about
games,
them.
actually.
We make the
I
games.
get out of bed every morning and I turn on the oven.
Bake it up.
That's right. I roll up the dough.
Is this like
that's
the-
a fair
Aye.
point. I
Is this
mean,
like
the
the Dunkin'
dev
Donuts?
teams are
That's
the
what I'm
ones.
going with,
Time to make the
Yeah,
games.
Yeah, exactly. Time
the
to make
dev
the
teams
games.
are definitely busting their asses to make something really special. So
They are. No, you guys work super hard.
I think
make
I
great
think that the
products,
great
yeah.
thing is the chairman. He knows that, right?
Yeah.
And so he's
Oh,
very
yeah.
very. He treats the devs in a very very good way. He understands
yeah.
their value and he really appreciates them, which is great. Right?
I think his major sort of, how do you say, way of thinking surrounding game development is that you really have to give people over here the freedom to make what they want to make
Right.
in as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I think there is, I mean, you know what, I haven't worked at another major game company, so I really can't say how things go down, especially outside of Japan.
Sure.
But I think there is a degree of freedom that we have here that is, I would say, fairly large. And
Yeah.
it's helpful in terms of being able to come up with different sort of new and creative ideas, even for, let's say, if we're working on the same series. Coming out with new ideas. Being able to sort of come to at least propose them. I think the image that people have of us over there in the other building, HQ,
The corporate building.
the corporate building.
Yes.
I think outside of Capcom, maybe the image would be that we're the suits and that we're really kind
Well, you
of.
do actually wear suits.
Yeah, you guys do wear suits.
Yeah, we haven't discussed the cultural the culture difference between our two
Yeah, the
buildings.
buildings. Yeah, that's
Well,
really
it's
interesting.
funny side note, but if I do sometimes like to wear a suit or
Oh
at least
yeah,
a
yeah,
tie. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you
everyone
wear a
freaks
sports
out
jacket
over
sometimes. Oh yeah, every time you wear
every
a
time I'll
sports
wear that,
jacket.
they'll be like, "What?
What's,
Why
what
do you
are
have a
doing
tie
there?
on?
What, you going on a job interview? What's going on? Like,
Yeah, everything okay?" I'm like, "No, I just feel like dressing up today."
it happens a lot.
Yeah, I
it
wanna-
used to happen a lot. I feel like it hasn't happened as
It
much
has.
lately.
It's just now we're getting back into autumn, so give it time.
Yeah, the summertime. We don't wear suits in the summertime. We're on the cool biz.
Ah, the cool biz.
The cool biz during
The Japan cool biz.
Yeah.
In order to save money on air conditioning, they let all the people that wear suits, I guess, not wear suits.
Oh, but
Short sleeves.
it's not like
Short
we're turning
sleeves.
down the AC. It gets too cold over there.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
man, the cool biz is not being effective at Capcom. Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
let's
have to
keep it
report
that
you
way
guys to
because
the-
sometimes it gets pretty hot.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
man, our floor was pretty warm today.
you guys. I mean, you got all that equipment though.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like
And more people.
We got
natural
really big beefy PCs
kind
and
of
stuff.
PCs just kind of emanating all that heat.
Yeah, no, our over there. I mean, it's completely. I want to say it's kind of completely different. Like, I don't know if you guys read POW.
I don't think we're allowed to
POW.
talk about.
We
the
can't talk
internal
about
magazine.
POW?
Really? We can't talk about POW?
It's
Oh,
the
that was
internal
too
magazine.
confidential.
Oh, Capcom Confidential.
It's an internal newsletter, right?
Yeah, and obviously we can't
the POW
share
newsletter.
it, but
I don't know. You guys know more about that than I do. Whether what we can share, what we can't share.
Yeah, you're the IR.
You're the IR guy.
I think we can say we have a
Internal
internal
newsletter.
newsletter
Absolutely, you
called
can, you can say that. Yes.
we can't share it with people because it even says in
Right.
the magazine.
Do
Do
not
not
share with
share.
internal
people.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we did a recently our
There are ads for it in our
we
lobby.
had
so
had
I'm
one of
pretty
our
sure.
guys from the IR PR team
Uh-huh.
was interviewed in that.
Okay.
And he kind of discussed the differences in culture. And it was kind of funny because like, yeah, that is different. So when you get into an elevator here in dev,
Yeah.
when you get off, or when people get off, do you say it's like, "shitsureshimasu" or something?
We say "otsukare desu."
Oh, but that's when you
Some-
see them.
Yeah.
But when they
Yeah.
get off the elevator, you've already
Sometimes
said
I
"otsukare-sama
might,
desu."
but that's because I'm half a suit.
I see. It's half a suit.
So shitsude shimasu is a very like polite like excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like saying excuse me for leaving before you.
Right.
Something like
And
that,
then otsukare sama desu is just it's just this kind of like
Really is just
it can
saying
mean all
hello.
kinds of different
Catch-all
stuff. It's a
greeting,
catch-all. It's a greeting. I've always wanted to teach Japanese people that it means keep on trucking, because I would love to have Japanese people at Capcom just walk around and say keep on trucking
But
to
when
each other.
you've been here long enough now, and for me, it really just feels like you're saying, "Hey, what's up?" Because it gets kind of, maybe originally it was the whole thing like, "Oh, you're tired. You must, all this stuff's going on. Hey," all it encompasses everything. But really, at the end of the day, it's just a salutation. So you're just saying,
Well, yeah.
"Hi."
Well, it's like
Hi.
in
I like
English,
that.
when we say, in English in America anyway, when we say "How are you doing?"
Right.
we don't actually mean that. It's
Right.
just a saying "Hi."
What's up?
Right. Well, it's a greeting, right?
Yeah,
It's just a greeting.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
thing here.
And
Yeah.
so that's why I like to sing otsukare sama desu to people.
Oh, could you sing it for us now?
Otsukare sama desu. I like to do that to people.
I see. I see.
I do that
Is
a
that
lot.
singing? I guess.
I mean, it's my approximation of singing.
Nice.
But yeah, so
So
in
the
the elevator,
difference in
it's a little
culture.
more kind of a little more
Stuffy.
stuffy. There was another example that was interesting. So when you take a day off,
Rules.
Yeah.
when you take a day off,
Yeah.
and you come back in the next day, the
Yeah.
next business day,
Okay.
you go around and you say to each person in your department, "Thank you for
Oh,
the day
wow.
off," and you do it in order.
Oh
from
my
highest to
God,
lowest
really?
In terms of the pecking order.
Wow.
So I got to go up to the big boss and be like, "Thank you very much." And then go to the next person and the next person, the next person, go all the way around,
Oh my God.
and then I can go sit down.
Holy bejesus.
Well, I mean, I can sit down before that, but
I
it's
wonder if that's
interesting.
is that what happens at all Japanese companies? Have I just been oblivious to this? I mean, in Dev we don't do
I
that.
think we don't do it in Dev.
In Dev,
so
we
I
don't
was a
do
little
that.
shocked when I went over there. I was like, "What is this?"
Wow, that's nuts. Because yeah, in Dev, like you're talking about how you guys wear suits. We wear like whatever we want.
Yeah.
Usually
yeah.
jeans and for me t-shirts that are too tight, and and like
showing off the mat.
oh God,
all that mat.
nobody wants to see that. They don't know, but nobody wants to see that. And like no, I've never seen anybody in Dev do that. Where like somebody takes a day off and then they're like, "Thank you for letting me take a day off." Like
No,
that's
I've
never
seen
right
No,
in Dev.
no.
Never.
A lot of
Never.
times it's like 5 minutes before you're supposed to be in, you get an email. It's like, I'm not going to come in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's I mean that doesn't mean that like people don't come in and work here. They do.
No, of course.
Damage
We don't have
control.
to- yeah. But no, man, we've never had to like go. Thank you for letting me take it. That's hardcore, man.
Yeah, that is pretty hardcore.
Wow.
No, it's interesting, and also another thing, you might not even notice this, but when I send emails to people,
Yeah.
I have to put them in order of their
Oh,
rank.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
seniority.
we,
Do you
we're
do that
actually
too?
supposed to do that.
You do that,
I
okay?
don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
No, we're supposed
I
to do
notice
that.
people not doing it, and so when I reply, I'll rearrange everybody.
That's amazing.
Be like, no, this person did it wrong.
I'm gonna start just sending. I'm just gonna. That you know what
I
I'll
do that,
next
by the
time.
way.
Next time
Oh,
I
wow.
need to email someone in order like that. First, I'm gonna
That's
gonna
proper
send it-
Japanese business etiquette, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, but like, there's so many people on some of these chains. It's like I don't know how this person relates to
When-
this person.
Yeah,
like,
but when
you
you
know.
get, director, producer,
Yeah.
level of seniority in terms of like manager, senior manager.
Yeah. Something you can do to check, like if they, because in Japan, this is pretty typical. People don't have titles all the time.
Right.
I don't have a title anymore. I did when I was in Dev because
Right.
in global R&D, we needed titles because we worked with people outside of Japan.
Right,
and
right.
We understood that, but
Right.
it's not well understood.
Mm.
But if someone doesn't have a title, you can check to see what year they joined sometimes.
Okay.
And it's actually
Oh,
related
you
to...
go hardcore.
You
Yeah.
go by year too.
actual
Yeah,
seniority
yeah.
level.
Holy
Wow.
Jesus.
Okay, I don't do that.
Because sometimes that's actually the real seniority is based on how long you've been here.
Right, so they're
right.
not
So-
actually a senior manager, but they've been here for
God,
like
you do this
25
every
years.
time. Every time you send
Well,
an email.
I'll take a look. I'll be like, because a lot of the times it's based on their phone number. So like which is based on.
That's correct, which is
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on your.
Our internal phone numbers are based on our years.
We can't talk about that.
What?
Yeah. Well, it's not like people can call us.
Actually, even
on
if you
those.
knew that, you wouldn't be able to figure it out most
Yeah.
of the time.
I can't figure out
Yeah,
my
some
Because
of
it's
them
kind of
are-
a jumbled up
So
number.
yeah, some
Yeah.
people don't. I mean, it kind of depends on your situation, but a lot of them, especially over in corporate,
Yeah.
it's pretty standardized over there. So
But Jesus.
yeah.
Man, no wonder you guys have to be super detail oriented, man. Jeez.
We do have to get a little into the details. But our departments, you know, I want to say that we're a little bit in terms of like corporate. We're a little bit more of the fun department.
The fun corporate.
the fun corporate
department,
All
yeah.
right. And
Now you guys are
you have
cool.
your hand gesture where you're like, you have your hands out like a clown.
Yeah,
Oh,
like, hey.
hey.
Because we do, I mean, because we're involved with the media, and because we have to go to these events, and
Right.
a lot of them are sort of like events that are put on for the titles. Other people on our floor and our sort of that are related to us and who, you know, they obviously have to work with us because we're communicating the figures and stuff that they put together, that accounting and finance
Right.
are all, they're doing their thing. They send it over to us and we've got to communicate that. We work with them, but we're a little bit different.
A little different.
We're a little different.
Well, you are PR, right?
We
so
are
you have
PR.
to have some fun.
We have a little bit of fun. We should, and we've discussed not wearing suits.
Would that be okay?
Last time I brought it up with the CFO, he's like, I've thought about not wearing suits because when we go to talk to investors,
Right.
a lot of times they don't wear suits or ties either.
Right.
They're
The
just,
investors.
yeah, especially in
Okay.
America.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They're just wearing like whatever Hawaiian shirt they have or whatever.
Well, it's not like that. They usually have just
okay.
a button-up shirt with a
Right.
collar and probably a jacket if it's cold.
Ah, okay.
But no ties. So we've considered it, but it's kind of more of a respect thing too. Like we're going to you,
Right.
and you might invest in
Right.
us, so we
Right.
should look proper. So probably gonna have to wear the suit for the time being. That's all right. I actually enjoy wearing the suit sometimes because it kind of I don't have to
This
think
is the
about
best
it.
podcast. Let's talk about the suits.
Let's talk about suits. Yeah, I don't have to think about it. Like
Nah,
No,
that's
I
true.
hear
That's
you.
true.
Because
Yeah.
you know, you just go open up the closet
That's
and
true.
you're like, okay, I'm going to wear a white shirt, a brown shirt, a red shirt,
Yeah.
whatever.
You know.
Not red, don't wear red.
no, not a, I do have a white shirt with red stripes.
Yeah,
It looks
Oh.
all right. It looks all right.
Okay.
But yeah, a straight red shirt would be kind of ridiculous.
It would be very aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Yeah,
Red
I know what
shirt
you're talking
with a
about.
white
I
tie.
would never buy a red shirt. I don't have any red shirts.
We're
That's-
talking about a
that's
red
ridiculous.
button-down
Yeah,
shirt,
just-
not a red regular shirt
Of course.
with that you would wear
Of
with a
course.
tie.
We were talking about red button-down
Okay, let's move on.
shirts.
Moving on.
But- So yeah, I mean, actually,
suits.
that was
Yeah.
at least
yeah.
for me pretty interesting to hear about your day to day and
Yeah, that's
kind
my
of
day.
engaging.
You know, we do stuff. Stuff happens. It's just like over here.
It's just like over here. Yeah, exactly. We do stuff. Stuff happens.
Do you guys have any questions, or how are we doing for time? Are we
well, I know you got to be somewhere, so I think maybe it's good time to wrap
It's time
it
to
up.
wrap it.
gonna wrap it up? All right.
Well,
That
you
was
could always
fun,
come
yeah.
back on. I mean, we'll ask the listeners if they want to hear more from
Yeah,
Dan.
more
'cause
about it.
I want to hear
Don't
more from
bring
Dan.
him back.
PRIR. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
us
pretty
more
cool,
about
'cause
New
Because
Hampshire.
people get. I'm sure that a lot of people who are interested in dev don't get to hear this sort of stuff, especially from the large publishers. What is in investor relations?
Okay, yeah, we could probably, maybe if people were interested, leave a comment if you're
Ooh.
interested.
Nice.
Well, do you have a place they can reach you, like on the Twitters?
No. I deleted my Twitter. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I got rid of that.
Did you?
I would delete my Facebook if I could.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm fatigued.
I see.
It fatigues
I see.
me.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people,
hear
that
you.
makes sense.
I hear
you.
A lot of people have been, yeah.
It didn't bring me any joy, so I was like, why am I looking at this?
Good
No, it's
call.
fair.
Good
So-
That's
call.
like the I can't think of her name right now. The Kondo method, right? The Japanese woman who talks about cleaning up your house and getting rid of all the
Oh,
stuff that
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
bring
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
happiness, throw it away.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like Kondo then. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. The Kondo Marie?
Yeah, Mari.
Yeah.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, no, it's
Komari. That's
Komari.
her shortened form.
I like it.
Nice.
Konmari.
Yeah,
I gotta read her book. Actually, I don't. But
you know what it is. Just
I know what it
get
is.
rid of the
Get rid of
chaff in
stuff.
your
That
life.
makes sense.
yeah.
It's good.
So yeah, I got rid of that. Got rid of my Twitters. I mean, probably exists like on the Wayback Machine or something like that. But I don't.
Cool.
I don't do the SNS.
So there's nowhere to reach you.
Yeah. No, I think the listeners
Well.
would be better reaching out to the Dev1 Twitter account.
Ah, there you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. And then
That's
we'll have
right.
to reach out to you. Thanks for increasing our workload.
Dev
Yes.
one, Dev one
Yes.
underbar official. That's
Underscore,
right.
yeah. And where can they reach you, Matt?
Gypsy Otoko on the Twitters.
And they can reach me at P Fabiano.
There we go.
And again, thanks as always for listening. Subscribe, tell your friends, and we hope to hear from you. Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, I'll be happy to come back someday.
Cool.
If you and all the lovely people listening to this would like to have me.
Nice.
Sweet. Take us out.
Do you guys want to go out?
Oh, that'd be good.
That works. All right, see you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Later, if you're American. Because when you hear this, it'll be after Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Matt?
Old Scottish Amadeus.